We're going to be talking about creating basic Google Forms and the best way possible to do this for classroom use. So you can access Google Forms by clicking on the application window right here in the top right corner and selecting Google Forms. Google Forms is a great tool to use if you're trying to conduct surveys, gather information from a large group of people, or even do things such as finding a great time to meet. So we can start off by selecting and creating a new form. We can start off by titling this form. I'll title it Getting to Know You. And if you click on the title of this document, it'll correct to that automatically. Then you can enter a form description. Then we can start off by titling our questions. So Google Forms automatically creates an untitled question for you in the beginning. I'm going to title this first question, "What's your favorite food?" Google Forms will automatically change the format of this question to a short answer. But for example, if I wanted my students to write a paragraph about their favorite food, I could change it to a paragraph. I could also change it to multiple choice if I wanted them to select options. And I could also make it checkboxes so they can select multiple or just one. If any of my students wanted to input some other food when I'm using multiple choice checkboxes or drop-down menus, I can just press Add Other, so my students have the choice to add another option that isn't included on the list. Next, we can add another question, and this question I'll title, "What sports do you like to play?" And it'll automatically make this into multiple choice, but we can change this to checkboxes. And just like that, my students can choose multiple or include another sport that they play that isn't on this list. To duplicate this question, I can select this option and I can just change the options here if I don't want to go through the process of creating more options or changing the format. To require this question, I can just click on the question and this required button will show up, where a red star will show up next to the question so my students know that they can't submit this form without answering this question. To delete a question, you can just press on the trash icon right here. To undo a deletion, you can press on the undo button on the bottom left corner. To add images or files, you can press on the add image or add video option right here, or if you kind of hover your mouse right here, you can do that from your computer as well. To create another section, you can kind of click on the last question and you can add section. Multiple sections of a Google form actually come in really handy, especially if you want different people to be able to go to different sections based off of their answers to previous questions. So the second section will be, what do you want your teachers to know about you? And as you can see, this description is completely optional. So we can add another question right here, and we can go through the same process as last time. As always, to change settings, you can go over here, you can collect email addresses and provide response receipts. You can share it to people in Share in Public Schools, and you can also enable editing after submission. If you do want to make this a quiz, you can just change the setting right here and press save at the end to save your changes. If you do want to get a little creative with it, you can change your theme by changing the color and also choosing an image to use as the header. To send your form to people, you can press the send button on the upper right corner and send them this form in an email or send it as a link, which you can copy and paste into any presentation or document. To add collaborators, which are other people who can change this form and see the responses on the form, you can send this link to them as well. To view responses, just click on the Responses tab. Lastly, you can also preview your form before you send it out.